Hey y'all, it's Siobhan Muir.
Being annoying.
I see. Welcome back and happy November. And it's really cold in Wyoming. So we're gonna do, I hope, a bunch of recipes that are warm and filling and you can use as sides for your Gratitude Day feast. So what we're gonna do today is what I call, it's not necessarily that, but it's what I call Hungarian potato salad. Why? Because you don't do all the things that you find in the potato salad, weird things they add at the grocery store. This is just literally potatoes, mayonnaise, and onions. It's really that simple, but it's the best potato salad I've ever had, and I've been alive for long enough that I've been to plenty of picnics where they have put together potato salad and I didn't want to touch them with a 10-foot pole. So this is a potato salad that I actually like. And it's really simple. The neat thing about it is it's fairly inexpensive because all you need is potatoes, which today were I think $3.97 for a 5-pound bag of red potatoes. You need mayonnaise, which was the expensive part at $5.48 for just a small tub of mayonnaise. And then you need at least one onion. And onions are not expensive at all. I think you can get a bag also for about $3, but you can or you can get individual the bulk for I don't know, about $1 a pound or thereabouts. So, but I'm not the one doing the cooking this time. I'm just here to look cool. So Mr. SM this is his recipe, and thank goodness for that because it's really yummy. And so yeah, he's going to show you how to make a really good simple potato salad.
Okay.
There's your purple onion.
Yes. As Siobhan said, I'm going to be making pretty much a simple family traditional potato salad. Why is it called Hungarian potato salad? Is because, well, my family's Hungarian, so I mean, we didn't know what else to call it. I think my mom, I don't know if this is my mom's original recipe or if it's a family recipe, don't know, but we'll call it a Hungarian potato salad. Pretty simple and straightforward. Everything that you see on the counter or on the table here is all you need. You're going to need a stock pot for some sort of pot to boil the potatoes for. You're going to need at least 2 bowls, and there's a reason for that. One bowl will be for creating the onion additive. And I'm going to call it that because you have to modify the onions a bit. And I'll get to that in a minute. You're going to need some mayo. And depending on how much you make, if we have a huge family gathering, I will make 5 pounds potato salad because it will actually pretty much get eaten in one go. So what kind of potato do you use? You can use russet, you can use yellow, you can use red. I prefer red in this instance because it's got a little bit of a sweeter taste to it. Plus, when you boil it, it holds up together quite nicely. Because the trick with this is you're gonna boil it for about 40 solid minutes with skin on. And that is the catch.
Yeah, you don't cut these potatoes. You actually boil them whole.
And then once you pour off the potato, that's when the fun part begins. Because you're gonna have to peel the potato while it's still hot and cut it up. And that's one of the reasons for the bowl. The other reason for the other bowl is because of the onion. Since if I were gonna use all 5 pounds, I would use a good size large onion. Because I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna use part of one that's already been peeled that I used for something else earlier today. So with that, Siobhan, if you can put this on the counter behind us, that'll be great.
Okay.
And then
the other thing is, like you said, you can use any potatoes, but you'll find that the golden potatoes, when they cook up, they get really soft, so they make great mashed potatoes. Russets, of course, when you cook them up long enough, they make great baked potatoes. So using a different kind of potato makes sense for this recipe because the nice thing about red potatoes, in addition to being sweeter, they're also a little more firm, and that means you can cut them up and they hold their shape.
So I'm using about half the bag, so about 2.5 pounds, maybe 3 pounds of potatoes. So I'm gonna put that aside, get rid of that. And then we're gonna just fill this pot. Potatoes are on, a little bit of salt. Lid. Turn that on to high and let it start boiling. I will set the time for
40 minutes, 45 minutes?
I'm gonna do 37 minutes to start.
Okay.
The way to test when a potato is done boiling, when it is skin on and so on, you'll use a fork, pierce one of the potatoes, generally one of the bigger ones. If the fork slides out of the potato smoothly, doesn't get sticky or gummy, potatoes are done. So while that warms up, we're gonna go to the next part. This is a 3-ingredient potato salad.
Do you need the salt as well?
I will.
Okay.
That one I will need.
All right.
So with that, I'm also going to trim off a little bit of the onion because the thing about onions is they generally absorb any. So if anyone's sick in the house, it's a waste of an onion. Throw an onion out, cut it, put it out. It will absorb any bacteria and any sort of, ick that's floating around. It's a great way to disinfect an area. Do not eat the onion after it. Throw it out. So if you accidentally leave an onion on the counter for a night, cut off a good portion of it where it starts to at least get hard again, and then or cut below that, and then throw the soft part out, and you can sort of keep the rest of the onion. I generally prefer to just chuck the onion. If I've left it out because I'm a schmuck, why put risk? So because I'm doing half the recipe that I would normally, or roughly, I'm going to do about 2/3 of this onion. And what you need to do is cut it pretty thin. Or I might actually do most of this onion.
And this is the first time he's done a red onion.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time he does a yellow or sweet onion. And so this will be a different looking potato salad, which is cool.
Yep, and yellow and sweet all work. This will be the first time, like Siobhan says, with the reds, so it'll be an interesting.
It will be.
Maybe a little bit of blend of the sweet and the yellow. Yeah, I'm going to use the whole thing. What the heck? So cut it fairly thin, maybe upwards of about 1/4 inch in thickness. You got a bowl full of onion. Awesome, great. Woohoo! You did a great job. So what are you going to do? Now comes the salt additive. You need to dehydrate the onion. And yes, I am actually intentionally using a lot of salt. Pour the salt on, mix it in, and then you just let it sit. The longer it sits, the more dehydrated it'll get, because at the end of the day, when the potatoes are done cooking, you're gonna squeeze out all the moisture, put this in a bowl mixture with the potatoes, and then add the mayonnaise, and that's it. Literally, that is it. Now it's time to wait. And so I'm gonna wash my hands and get the salt off my fingers.
And then there's nothing to see here but waiting for the potatoes to boil. You definitely want to boil them at least 35 minutes. Least.
Yeah, minimum.
And then you're probably looking more like at 40 or 45 minutes just to get the potatoes the way you want them. Because we all know potatoes are rocks. And if you don't cook them entirely, they're crunchy. You don't want crunchy potatoes.
And when I usually boil potatoes skin on, I try and put it in a pot big enough and deep enough to have at least a good 2 to 3 inches of spare water on top. You want to have enough water just to have excess to allow the starch to break down a bit. And then from that point, I guess we'll come back when we get really close to having the potatoes done.
So you can see us test them, and then we'll get them out and start peeling, right?
And I'll do my best not to cuss.
Because they're hot.
Yeah, because when it's done, it's boiling. It will be about 200 plus degrees. So the joy of having to peel this when it's steaming, rather entertaining.
Another reason why he does it and I don't. These
So-
delicate little hands can't have it.
Yeah.
So we'll see you in a bit.
Siobhan had to step away for a minute, so she'll be back in a sec, so you won't be stuck listening to me for too long. So, I might just check on the potatoes real quick. And just stab in, and it slid right off. So, potatoes are done. Now, normally when I do this, everything would be over the sink, but I'm going to do it on the table here once I get this all poured off. Now, normally, like I said, I would be doing this all over the sink, but there's no room to film in the sink, so we're going to go here. I'm going to take these off because I'd like to see what I'm doing. All right, to make it simple, since I don't have a sink nearby, I put in a pot of ice water because, as you can see, this is steaming and it's hot. So I'm going to put it in here for a second. And the nice thing about putting it in cold water is sort of like if you're blanching fruit. What you end up doing is it allows the skin to separate from the item. And in this case, it's the potato. Oh man, you're hot. Oh. And you want to do this as quick as you can. Hello, my dear.
Hello. How's the blanching going?
Oh, it's wonderful. Burning my hands like always.
This is why he does it.
I do it out of love.
You do. You do it out of love.
I may need you to get some more ice at some point.
I can do that.
So once you get it peeled, then you just start slicing it. And actually, I probably could have gone for just a little bit longer, but this will work. So we cooked it for 37. You could have probably gone for maybe about 38, 39.
But it's still soft enough?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the fork came right off. Ha ha.
You want some more ice?
No,
Don't cut yourself.
it's not. I'm not gonna cut myself. It is
Don't overheat your hands either.
a chunk of the inside of the potato landed on the outside of my hand. All right, one done. And the goal is to try and get these peeled probably in about 5 to 10 minutes, which does mean holding something that is at boiling. Takes some getting used to. And yes, I have probably burned my hands enough that I don't sense the heat like a normal human being would. And then just to add, fun to this is once you get done with this, then you got to add the onions, which have been currently soaking in salt to dehydrate. And the whole purpose of that is you want to get the onions to soften while also getting a little more flavor in them and just get as much water out as possible. So I said I could have gone and cooked it a little bit longer. In fact, I probably could have because one of the bigger pieces was still a little hard in the center. So,
And you really want them to be soft and cooked all the way through because nobody wants crunchy potatoes in your potato salad.
so as you can see, it's an even texture and even color right through, so you know it's all the way fully cooked. And so in my haste, I didn't check the other big potatoes, so oopsie, that's a problem on my end. So when everything's said and done, it should all be a pretty much slice of potatoes. So next up, take the onions, squeeze out all the water. And then add it in. And I squeeze until I don't get much more. I can't feel nearly as much water coming through my fingers. And yes, you will definitely have your hands washed before you start this. But I've already washed my hands right before I started peeling the potatoes.
I'm gonna wash my hands so in case you need them.
Fair enough, beautiful, fair enough.
And you do this, you squeeze the onions to make sure there's no excess water, because then otherwise your potato salad ends up getting really watery and nobody wants that.
So, how much mayo do you need? Depends on how creamy you want your potato salad to be. So, I will probably end up using the majority of this bottle, if not opening up another one. And so, it's probably about a cup and a half of mayo at the moment. And so, you just take a spoon, wooden spoon, whatever. Spatula works. I would not recommend a whisk.
Whisk will break up the potato and then you won't have decent sized chunks.
But you want to have enough mayo in there that it pretty well coats all of the potato. And usually with how much salt you've done with the onions, you don't need to add salt to this. And a little bit of salt that you added to the water. And maybe, you know, what would have helped is if I added a little more salt to the water. But, you know, honestly, this is what it looks like more or less at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Siobhan, would you taste it?
Potatoes.
Tell me if it's missing anything.
I will, but I want some of the onion too.
No? It's a success? Okay, I'll go put some on a plate or a bowl.
You got a bowl. What I love is that it's really, really simple, and yet it tastes good. You don't have to worry about anything weird in it. This is the only potato salad I like. The stuff at the stores that you buy is usually too sour. Like they didn't figure out that in the mixture of sweetness to salt. Ooh.
But that's it. Overall, from start to finish, you're probably looking at hour. I mean, the boiling is the biggest part. The biggest challenge is you do want to peel it while they're really warm still, because it allows for them to peel.
And you don't lose much of the meat of the potato.
Yep, because once it cools off too much, then the skin becomes like concrete adhered to the potato. So that's the only thing that really is a pain in this recipe, is be prepared. Your hands will get hot, so have a very cold source of water nearby.
Yeah.
That, I turn it over to you.
And then, like I said, this makes a very good side. You can eat it at any kind of meal. You can bring it actually for Gratitude Day, Thanksgiving. You can eat it at the holidays, the Yule, and even Easter. But yeah, it's a really good and easy side to make, and you can't really go wrong, because really it's just mayonnaise, onions, potatoes, and a little bit of salt. That's really all it is.
Yep.
And yeah, no one can say, ew, I don't like that. Well, it's the 4 ingredients, that's it. So, thank you so much for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to share this, right?
No, you can have the whole bowl.
Oh, I can have the whole bowl. Thank you for joining us. Please like the video, ring the bell to know when new videos come up, leave a comment letting us know if you've tried it and liked it or didn't like it, whatever.
Yep.
And subscribe to the channel so that you know when more of these. And this one, hey you guys, it's potato, onion, salt, and mayonnaise. It's gluten-free. You don't have to worry about gluten in this one. So, thank you for joining us. Happy making, happy baking, happy eating, and happy reading. See you later.
Bye, everyone.